It seems like Goldie Hawn has always had an enduring quality about him. Her brilliance has never faded, from her early TV breakout to her status as one of Hollywood's most beloved performers. On TV, people can see her laugh, admire her beauty, and marvel at her incredible achievements. Another story, though, lies behind it all. This is a tale of love, loss, and those bonds that hold you close no matter how much time passes. Those amazing men have finally been discussed by Goldie, who is now 79 years old. Biography and professional start. Laura and Edward Ruttled Hawn welcomed their daughter Goldie into the world at the nation's capital. In addition to her dance studio, her mother had a jewelry store. Edward Rutledge was the youngest man to sign the Declaration of Independence, and her father was a conductor and musician with a long family history of signing documents. Along with her sister Patty, Goldie was named by her mother's aunt. While the girls were little, they were unaware that she had a brother named Edward Jr., who passed away while still a baby. She came from a multicultural family. The mother was Jewish, descended from Hungarian immigrants, while the father was Presbyterian and of German and English ancestry. Goldie went to Silver Springs Montgomery Blair High School and was a devout Jewish girl from Tacoma Park, Maryland. At a young age, dance became a part of her life. At the tender age of 3, she commenced her study of ballet and tap. She joined the ballet's Ruse de Monte Carlo as a nutcracker dancer by 1955. She portrayed Juliet in a 1964 performance of Romeo and Juliet by the neighborhood Shakespeare Festival, which was quite a while after that. In the same year that she dropped out of American University's acting program, she launched her own ballet school. Still, she couldn't resist the stage's call. She was a professional dancer who performed in a variety of settings, including the New York World's Fair's Can Dance, as well as nightclubs in New York and New Jersey. Goldie moved to California in 1966 to pursue acting opportunities in the theater. She made her television debut from 1967 until 1968 on Good Morning World, where she played the part of a naive blonde. Her breakout performance on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, 1968-1973, where her infectious laughter and vivacious personality won over fans, was made possible by this. Among the it girls of the 60s, she quickly climbed to fame. The arrival of Hollywood was rapid. Cactus Flower was one of Goldie's film credits. She won an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 1969 for her first part in a major motion picture. She maintained her fame with films like Butterflies Are Free, 1972, There's a Girl in My Soup, 1970, and Spielberg's The Sugarland Express, 1974. She even tried her hand at music in 1972, when she released a country record with the help of Buck Owens and Dolly Parton. Her fame was solidified in the late 70s and early 80s. She was nominated for 2 Academy Awards for her roles in Foul Play, 1978, Private Benjamin, 1980, and Overboard, 1987, which she co-starred in with Kurt Russell. By that point, she had transcended acting. Her own career was being shaped by her productions. Goldie returned to performing in films like The First Wives Club, 1996, Everyone Says I Love You, 1996, and The Out of Towners, 1999, after taking a break in the mid-1990s to care for her mother. Before her second retirement in 2002, she had an appearance in Banger Sisters. However, Goldie remained. She returned to cinematic acting in 2017 with Snatched and Will Next Be Seen in 2020 in The Christmas Chronicles. In 2005, she penned her autobiography, A Lotus Grows in the Mud. Her thoughts and opinions, together with her infectious warmth, humor, and irreplaceable spirit, continue to enchant audiences to this day. Goldie Hawn is well known for more than only her acting and singing abilities. She's also the kind to think profoundly about big questions like faith, mortality, and the meaning of life. Over the years, she has explored several spiritual practices and found her personal path. She has devoted a great deal of her life to meditation in particular. In an effort to find balance in her life and overcome the pressures of Hollywood, she resorted to it. Goldie has identified as a Jewish Buddhist whenever asked about her faith. The combination of her Jewish background and her Buddhist lifestyle, especially her practice of mindfulness and meditation, is reflected in this blend. She has often stressed the importance of nurturing one's inner self, no matter how chaotic life gets. Labels don't apply to her spirituality. Love, empathy, and belonging are at the heart of it. In addition to having strong opinions on personal matters, Goldie was fearless in voicing her societal concerns. She has always spoken out in support of the LGBT community. A strong believer in the power of love and acceptance, she attacked homosexual partnerships as man's inhumanity to man in an interview, referring to laws that criminalize them in countries like Nigeria. Her statement conveyed a mix of dismay and deep sympathy for anyone facing prejudice. In and out of the spotlight, her life has been defined by her unwavering commitment to the values of equality, tolerance, and understanding. Similarly, Goldie has dabbled in her own brand of politics. She vocally backed Senator Ted Kennedy in 1980, while the Democratic presidential primaries were underway. This was just one more proof that she was fearless in her advocacy for the people and causes she believed in. In sum, her thoughts and feelings reveal that she is a humanitarian thinker and entertainer. Hollywood beauty Goldie Hawn has always maintained an approachable human side. Sexism in Hollywood's culture. Hollywood, which Goldie Hawn entered in the 60s and 70s, was notoriously sexist, and she has been vocal about it for quite some time. She has made it clear that women in the industry face sexism, and that men in power do not always understand or appreciate their desires. It wasn't so much about opportunity slides, in her opinion. It was about the unjust and irritating experience of being treated differently, only because of her gender. The manner in which components were presented or understood is one instance she cited. She embodied the stereotypical naive blonde on Laugh-In in the late 60s. Goldie supposedly told a journalist, "But I am already liberated." This quote sums up her resistance, not by rejecting parts directly, but by refusing to let labels define her inner liberation. When asked whether she felt guilty about playing the role, while women were fighting for freedom. The First Wives Club, 1996, is another seminal example. According to Gold, the initial draft for this film was overly sexist. At first, she and her co-stars turned it down because it made them feel uncomfortable. When it came to demanding improvements, Goldie was heavily involved. She meticulously took notes, ensuring that the character's presentation and tone were well balanced. She claimed she advocated for every change I made to make it more equal during the rewriting process. Less spectacular but ongoing difficulties have also been discussed by her. How films made by women are treated differently, how women are typically paid less, and how they earn fewer roles overall, especially as they age. As an example, consider the smash hit The First Wives Club. The studio reaffirmed its previous conditions when asked about the possibility of a sequel. If males had been in the same position as women, their salary would have increased immediately, as pointed out by Goldie. She learned the hard way how Hollywood is scared to take chances with films with female leads beyond a certain age. She has since discussed the lessons she learned from this method in interviews, including the need of being strong and forceful, how to negotiate, and not giving in just because things have always been this way. According to Goldie Hawn, she used to try to stand up to bullies when she was a kid. Now she says things like, "Don't ever do that again." Cancel culture and politicization. Lately, Hawn has been vocal about her alarm at the current cultural climate, expressing her dismay at how entertainment and award shows have lost some of their previous qualities. According to her, the term cancel culture is the most terrifying thing to her. She is concerned that people nowadays are overly sensitive, especially when it concerns comedy. She observes that similar to how they used to be afraid of getting their shows canceled, comedians are now afraid to make certain jokes. After words are spoken, there is no room for nuance, according to Goldie, who thinks the sensitivity threshold has become ruthless. While she acknowledges the necessity to address certain concerns, she is concerned that the pendulum may have swung too far. Jokes aren't the only thing she talks about. She has mentioned the cancellation of books, even classics in this context. This politicization is also reaching the educational institutions. According to her, there are several cultural conflicts, and she doesn't think that's necessarily helpful, especially when individuals aren't thinking about the welfare of children or the common culture. Furthermore, Goldie feels that the Oscars and other big ceremonies have lost some of the reverence and grace that they once possessed. According to her, things are more politically charged and off-color now than they were in the past. There was a feeling of ceremony when people were believing, not pushing agendas, and she remembers those times when people seemed strange. Additionally, she used specific examples to illustrate the state of our culture at the present time. The 2022 Academy Awards incident with Will Smith and Chris Rock is one example. According to Goldie, these kinds of actions reflect societal trends when people lose control in public and their emotional response is staged. She considers how people are handling or aren't handling criticism, offense, and public pressure. And it's not just about a single moment, but what that moment says. Furthermore, Goldie's main point appears to be that there are real problems with prejudice, abuse, and hate speech. However, there is a danger when every slip-up, every impolite remark is deemed irreparable. Where artists can be themselves and where others may laugh without fear of retaliation is what she seeks. A more balanced, even-handed, and realistic creative environment. Those 6 men who Goldie Hawn just couldn't get past are up next. Guy Trionis, director, actor, and dancer named Gus Traconis, was Goldie Hawn's first husband. May 16, 1969 was the wedding day for the happy couple, and Goldie was just starting her career as a rising star in Hollywood. Gus was also a member of the film fraternity. He directed after appearing as one of the sharks in 1961's West Side Story. The first thing that brought them together was their shared background in performance and dance. At that point, Goldie was trying to balance her career's fast expansion with her own satisfaction. Her performance in Cactus Flower earned her the Oscar for Best Supporting Actress in 1969. The same year she tied the knot. She had never been more famous, and she was quickly rising to the ranks of Hollywood's most desirable young actresses. The young couple's relationship was already straining from being married during their meteoric rise to stardom. Additionally, Goldie and Gus were in a relationship for a while, but they broke up on April 9, 1973. Once Goldie filed for a divorce, their marriage was formally finished. The breakup happened when Goldie was heavily involved in the film and television industries, putting herself in the spotlight, while Gus was shifting his focus to behind-the-scenes work. Albeit she didn't immediately seek out another commitment. Despite the short lifespan of their marriage, the book holds great significance in Gold's life story. She married Gus when she was barely a teenager, and the experience of being a young wife during her time as a Hollywood star undoubtedly shaped her view on relationships thereafter. The media paid more attention to the dates and basic details of her marriage and split with Gus than to some of her later relationships, which were more publicized. Goldie had already become one of Hollywood's biggest stars by the time they broke up. This is Ted Grossman. Ted Grossman, an actor and stuntman, had a brief romance with Goldie Hawn in 1973. Despite the lack of commitment, this encounter was a part of Gold's dating life during a time when her life was undergoing significant changes. Since Ted Grossman's name does not figure prominently in major Goldie biographies, the information we have regarding him and their relationship comes from secondary sources and gossip journals. Whatever the case may be, it is evident that she and he had some sort of romantic involvement in 1973, after her divorce from Gus Traconis. Their rumored split occurred that same year. Little is said about the extent to which this connection affected Goldie, what may have drawn them together, or how it ended because it seems to have been brief. This romance is not part of her later, better documented long-term relationships. Still, she was young, discovering who she was, falling in love, and dreaming big at a time when her own celebrity was on the rise. The Swedish opera singer and actor Bruno Wenzel Brunoil gained fame across the globe. His family originated from Bromma, Sweden, and he had a history of performing music and acting. His foundational training as a performer was laid by his time spent studying voice in Salzburg, Austria, and London. From opera to musical theater to film acting, Wenzel did it all throughout his career. His singing and charismatic stage presence were on full display in the smash hit musical Hair, where he had a memorable performance. Wenzel had a successful acting career in films in addition to his theater work. The Girl from Petrovka, 1974, based on the novel by George Pfeiffer, was one of his most notable film roles. This film accomplished double duty. It gave him international visibility beyond Sweden and linked him to Hollywood heavyweights like Goldie Hawn. Wenzel and Hawn developed a love relationship in the 1970s, which transformed their professional relationship. From about 1973 to 1975, their romance lasted for over 2 years. It was an important aspect of their life, even though the press didn't cover it as much as other partnerships in Hollywood at the time. A lot of people, including Goldie, have talked about how intense and memorable their relationship was with their Swedish partner in the past few years. The renowned actress Ingrid Bergman and her husband Lars Schmidt were among the people they met while traveling through Scandinavia, which she recalled seeing places like Norway and the west coast of Sweden. Such recollections of their own shared experiences show that it was more than just a random encounter. It was a genuine bond that left an effect. For well, being linked to a worldwide sensation like Goldie Hawn further highlighted the era's transatlantic crossover in Swedish entertainment. His relationship with Hawn catapulted him into the international spotlight, elevating an already stellar career of his. But for a limited time, Bruno Well tragically passed away in 2002 at the age of 58 after a valiant battle with cancer. His contributions to opera, musical theater, and movies ensure that he will be remembered in Sweden, despite his untimely death. Among the noteworthy individuals in Goldie's life history, Winnell represents a period brimming with passion, global travel, and memories that will endure forever. Nicola Nero. The legendary Italian actor Franco Nero came into this world on November 23, 1941. San Prospero Parmense, Parma, Italy was the birthplace of Francesco Clemente Josefe Sparaniro. In the 60s, he became famous. His debut performance was as the main character in the spaghetti western cult classic Django, 1966. In Italy and beyond, he has portrayed numerous roles throughout the years. In addition to his work as an actor in a wide variety of films, including dramas, action flicks, and romances, Nero has also worked as a camera operator and in a number of different genres, including the early Italian genre movements of gialli thrillers, police, crime fiction, and of course the westerns, for which he became famous. He was still in high demand in part because of his range. Now concerning his affair with Goldie Hawn in the mid-1970s, rumor has it that Goldie Hawn had a brief relationship with Franco Nero. This was a short-lived romance that occurred about 1975. Shortly after their breakup, Goldie Hawn discussed their relationship with Nero in interviews and biographies. This romance, like all of her others at the time, did not last, but it is mentioned anyway. There aren't many public histories or in-depth accounts from Goldie or Franco themselves about the mundane details of their relationship, since it was brief. In all the time they spent together, there was no major, widely publicized project, marriage, or children. In interviews or while considering Hahn's romantic history in the future, the memory of it seems to surface. Franco had multiple affairs in the 1970s with various actresses, including Goldie. During that period, his personal life and profession were thriving. Dating Nero was an important element of Goldie's personal growth during a period when her fame was rising and her love life was less publicly regulated than it later became. William Hudson. Bill Hudson, a member of the musical band the Hudson Brothers who became famous in the 1970s, was Goldie Hawn's second husband after her first marriage ended. Their brief affair began in the summer of 1975, when they first crossed paths. Within a year, they were legally married on July 3, 1976. Oliver Hudson, Goldie and Bill's first child, was born on September 7, 1976, in the same year. After some time had passed, on April 19, 1979, their family expanded with the birth of Kate Hudson. Oliver and Kate would go on to achieve the same level of success as their mother, as actors. Back when they were Goldie and Bill's tiny kids, they weren't even Hollywood stars. Brought up in a home where fame, music, and movies were constants. Even though Goldie's career was taking off, she was having marital problems with Bill. Things began to go awry in the marriage after a little over 5 years. The pair chose to quit their relationship in the early 1980s after years of struggle. In March 1982, their divorce was formalized. The breakup was a watershed moment for more than just Goldie. As a result, her children's family dynamic was defined. Oliver and Kate Hudson have spoken at length about their troubled connection with their father, Bill Hudson, in latter years, in contrast to the close bond they share with Goldie and her long-term companion, Kurt Russell. Despite all the hardship, Goldie never wavered in her commitment to providing a safe haven for her children. The event of her marriage to Bill Hudson remains a watershed moment in her biography. She became a mother and a global celebrity at the same time. From the late 1970s into the early 1980s, she was a media darling who had to juggle a movie career, the spotlight, and the responsibilities of parenting two children. By the time Goldie's marriage to Bill had ended, she had proven that she could persevere through both professional and personal challenges. Their union as husband and wife did not endure, but the family they created had an indelible impact on Goldie's life. Kevin Durant. Actor Kurt Russell, who is also a Hollywood icon, has been Goldie Hawn's long-term partner and the focus of the public eye. In 1983, they set out on their quest. In contrast to the transient nature of many celebrity relationships, theirs has lasted. Their unique relationship stems from the fact that, despite being together for so long, they have never tied the knot. Something that Goldie and Kurt have openly stated is perfect for them. Kurt Russell had an impressive resume in the entertainment sector before he met Goldie. A native Springfield, Massachusetts native, he began his acting career in the early 1960s after being born on March 17, 1951. Actually, he was Walt Disney's favorite actor, and he had starred in several of the studio's films in the 60s and 70s. After that, he grew into his mature roles, starring in critically acclaimed films like 1981's Escape from New York as his iconic character Snake Plannin'. His ability to switch between dramatic roles, comedy, and action flicks earned him a reputation as one of Hollywood's most adaptable actors. They may have had a better understanding of each other's lives and careers because Kurt and Goldie were both already well established in the film industry when they started acquainted in the early 1980s. Wyatt Russell was born to them on July 10, 1986. Then Wyatt moved on to establish his own unique profession. Wyatt followed in his parents' footsteps as a professional ice hockey player before he became an actor. After injuries ended his professional career, he transitioned smoothly into acting and has since appeared in numerous films and TV shows, including Marvel's The Winter Soldier and The Falcon. Their distinct perspectives on love and commitment define Goldie and Kurt's relationship. Marriage was never seen as a necessary condition for them to prove their relationship was strong. The secret to keeping their bond strong, they've stated in interviews, is choosing each other every day without the pressure of a formal commitment. Not only has their marriage endured, but they've also blended their families and provided a stable, loving environment for their children, which is unusual in Hollywood. One of Hollywood's favorite couples, Kurt Russell complements Gold's vivacious energy and professional achievement with his charisma and success. They have also showcased their indisputable chemistry on screen in a number of films together, such as the beloved 1987 film Overboard. Many people still find motivation in their connection and hold them in high esteem. A wedding band isn't necessary for a love that lasts a lifetime. Unlike most Hollywood comedies, Goldie Hawn's tale manages to be simultaneously epic and relatable. The way she has handled herself through the many changes that have occurred in the entertainment industry over the years is what truly sets her apart. Even more so than her popularity or talent, she has displayed remarkable versatility without sacrificing her charisma across many mediums, including comedy, drama, and film. Being authentic has allowed Goldie to remain relevant, while many performers lose their star power after a few years in the spotlight. The enthusiasm she brings to every situation is something that many find admirable about her. She has this magnetic charisma that puts anyone at ease, whether they're watching her on film or listening to her in an interview. Her infectious smile and positive energy became her signature, allowing her to connect with people of all generations. You can see the seriousness of someone who battled for respect and made her mark in a competitive field beneath the surface antics and humor. Even away from the silver screen, Goldie has made her imprint. Launching initiatives that focus on mindfulness and helping youngsters manage stress, she has been passionate about education and children's well-being. Giving back is important to her, and this side of her reflects that. The purpose she hopes to achieve with her platform and so forth. Remembering her career, it's about more than simply the movies and romances that made headlines. The themes of perseverance, inquisitiveness, and defiance of constraints are central. Taking chances and starting over are hallmarks of her life story. That is the reason why her tale is so motivating. A Hollywood star isn't all that Goldie Hawn is. She exemplifies the idea that true success is not measured by popularity alone, but by the impact one has on the world around them. And there you have it, the life and career of the legendary Goldie Hawn, an inspiration to people all around the globe. In case you found this exploration of her universe entertaining, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment with your opinions, and forget to hit like and subscribe and press the bell icon. Thanks for watching.